Greetings and welcome, my friends. This is the Goonies, the Jeskai synthesizer deck we've been working on for a bit. It started out all right, but the most recent changes have turned it into a monster. We've got a little bit of card draw as well as a great way to get permanents on board. We have a way of giving our Robot Overlords haste as well as trample, and even double strike, making our AI men a force of lethality. We've got the usual duplication as well as an artifact removal to take out opposing permanents we need to have gone. Let's get in there. We've got the full set of 3 steps ahead, the Swiss Army knife of instants. We'll use it to make an instant copy of an artifact, usually a synthesizer, but in emergencies we can make a copy of the snare to snipe an opposing permanent at instant speed. If we need it, we can use it as to counter any opposing spell. And the card draw is also an option, though less likely in this deck, since we have a couple of excellent ways of finding our key card. Fountainport Bell is a great way to make sure we are able to get ourselves out of any shuffler specials we get stuck with. In the case that we have drawn plenty of lands, we can essentially cycle it away for the low cost of 2 mana. We are playing 3 colors, so the bell can easily help us with color fixing. Perilous Snare is our artifact removal that can take care of any opposing permanent we want gone. Being an artifact is huge since it will trigger the synthesizer when we play it out, and we can copy it with 3 steps ahead. The synthesizer is our key card. The goal is to get at least 1 in play, then generate Robot Overlords at ridiculously low prices before we send them at the opponent's face for damages. The Helm is the fantastic partner to the synthesizer. With every token we generate, the Helm will generate a map token as well to help grow our AI men to rather large proportions. And with it, we can make a token copy of any artifact token we already have. After making a token synthesizer, we can make copies of it until someone's head explodes. If it smells like GG's, that's because it is. Frostcliff Siege is our way of giving our Robot Overlords haste and trample, all with 1 card. And it will give them a boost in power as well. Smashing faces has never been easier. But what if we draw multiples, you ask? Simply play out the second one under Jeskai. That way our Robot Overlords have haste, trample, and when they hit the opponent, we'll draw a card. One of these in play gives us the ability to take down the opponent in 1 attack step. The intelligence might be artificial, but the beatings are real. Rediscover the Way is an excellent enchantment that can help us find a key piece, and once it is sacrificed, we can give one of our men double strike when we play out a non-creature spell. And in our deck, let's play anything else out and give one of our Robot Overlords head-smashing power. Minds will be blown. Patchwork Banner is a ramp artifact that also helps fix our colors. As a bonus, we also give our Robot Overlords a stat boost with it in play. And because it's a 3-mana artifact, it will trigger any factory outlets we have. Robot Overlords have never been this cheap. United Battlefront is the backbreaker in our arsenal. Not only can we get multiple permanents with just 1 card, but it's a great way of finding a synthesizer or even a removal. Also note that this will hit on our enchantments as well, so it's an excellent way of powering up our AI masters. For lands, we're playing 2 Muruganda Raceway, the special land that can tap for double colorless if we get to max speed. 4 Fabled Passage, the land we can sacrifice to fetch out any basic from our deck. For Mystic Monastery, the special land that can produce a mana in any one of our colors. For Flood Farm Verge, the plains that becomes a dual when we have a plains or island in play. 1 mountain, 5 islands, and 5 plains. This deck is not just powerful, it's also rather easy to play. The early turns are all about setting up the right color mana to be able to play out our cards. Generally, we only need 1 red, 1 white, and 1 blue, but to use the 3 steps ahead as a counter, we'll want double blue. Double blue is also beneficial if we want to play out a Helm and activate it in the same turn. The majority of the deck will function like a smooth-running machine with only 1 mana of each color. The goal is to get a synthesizer down. Without one, the focus is on finding one with Rediscover the Way or a United Battlefront. A Frostcliff Siege turns our Robot Overlords into beat-down machines with trample as well as haste. It's a combination that will end many opponents. The mid-game is all about building up an army while we work on getting a siege in play to let our men hit past any blockers. There isn't much of a late game. The AI either make heads roll or the opponent should have knocked us off by the time turn 8 rolls around. That's the deck, boys. Let's go play some games.
Do you want to play a game?
This is I Just Want Tob Eat Felix. I don't think that's legal. The only thing you'll eat are damages. We kick things off with a shuffler special, but we've got no bell to bail us out. We do have a factory and a snare. All we need is one more land and we'll be in business. Let's give it a shot. Keep your hopes up. We draw a bell, it's as good as a third land. Let's play it out and use it to get a plains. They have some land fetching of their own. They look to be on dragons, and depending on their mix of men, they might have the one that destroys an artifact or enchantment when it enters. They follow up with a vacuum. Bro has been traumatized by Reanimator. For our turn, we'll sacrifice the bell, then pass the turn. They activate their vacuum and suck it down. That bell was going to come out of the grave and kill you, bro. They play out the dragon orb. It'll make their dragons a little bigger and gives them an additional mana. We'll go ahead and synthesize. The factory outlet will be open for business very soon. On top we have a pair of battlefronts. By the time we can fire one off, we'll have the mana to do so. We'll keep both of them. I know, that's a total Greed Lord move, but they've likely got dragons on the way. They hit an encroaching dragon storm, and that's going to ramp them into some dragon goodness. Luckily, we brought some sauce, in case we can fry something up later. They still need more lands? Isn't that kind of whack? Only 3 mana for our first Robot Overlord. These prices aren't going to last long. Call 1-800-ROBOT Overlord and reserve yours today. They play out in Yugen, and we'll have to raise prices to make up for having to close our factory outlet. Just when the production runs were about to speed up too.
This world, equilibrium must be the wise. Heed my.
Let's throw their dragon planeswalker in a cage. We'll smell you later, bro. Please don't poop in there either. There will be a cleaning fee if you do.
Resist would
A dragon-back assault. It's a little short of taking out our AI, but I'm sure they've got a land to follow up with. We didn't bring these just to see how pretty they look in our hand. Let's fire off the first battlefront. We'll take a snare and the rediscover. We've got things to throw in cages and tools to dig up. That vacuum is as useful as having an umbrella indoors. Suck it, bro, suck it good. Suck it real good. I think we'll take a land here. That's a good option, right? We'd love to go in, but let's not trade away our only Robot Overlord. He could be bigger on our next turn, so let's hang on to what we got. Another assault, but is there going to be a land to follow it, or is this all smoke and mirrors? Out of these 3, I think we've got to go with the 3 steps ahead. We'll be 6 steps ahead now, and that's pretty good. Fire in the hole. Let's blast another one of these off and see what we get. That's a factory outlet and a snare. We'll take them. The helm would have been nice, but we need the removal. On top we have a banner and a bell. Let's ship the bell on down. At 8-8 we can send in our first Robot Overlord. They prefer going to Fist City. Black eyes look good on them, they say. I like your style, bro. There's the ramp again. It's too bad they don't have their broke back assaults on board. Oops. We get the final chapter on our rediscovery, so double strike for everybody. That's right, you sir get to punch twice as hard this turn. Just wait for that sweet trample. The opponent says they didn't pay for trample, but double strike is just fine. Very well, let's get in there. They poop it and scoop it. Use Tide on the stains, bro. Also GG's. This is Brian Bro Ski. No wait, it's by Ron Rosie. Smells nice and rosy. For now. To my surprise, we get a 3-lander this time around. We're missing a factory, but we do have some cards we can work with in the meantime. Keep your pants on. We draw a second monastery, so we'll play it out. At 4 mana, we can play out everything in our deck. And we've got all our colors as well. Broski might smell rosy, but he's got no plays through their 3rd turn. We'll play out our rediscover, it'll help us find a factory, and we'll dig into our deck. On top we have a bell and 2 lands. Let's take the bell. We can use it to draw if we decide not to fetch a land out. They throw down an evangelist, let the praying begin. Hear me, Lord, for I do not want stains. On top we have double battlefront and a land. Too easy, let's take the ammo. Fire in the hole. On top we have a factory, which we'll take right away. And another rediscover might be good too. The new rediscover gets us another synthesizer. Prices will be slashed. On top we have a 3 steps ahead and a siege. I suppose both will be fine. We're loaded with cards. We'll have to toss one before we let the opponent have a go. They play out a Lauren. Clearly they'll target the synthesizer. What a shocking development. We've got our siege and a pair of lands. Maybe grabbing a land here would be the better way to go. We do have double siege in hand already. We'll play out the snare. This will deal with their evangelist nicely. They won't get the attack trigger when they swing in. They play out everyone's favorite sheep. I need some wool socks though. Can you send that thing on over? Not yet. Okay, I'll wait. We draw a battlefront, which would be pretty cool, but we need a factory down. We slashed prices, but there hasn't been any production. On top we have a passage and a 3 steps ahead. I'm not sure how many steps ahead we need to be, but let's be sure we can stay ahead. We'll keep the land. That'll take us to 7 mana, enough to play the battlefront and a siege in 1 turn. They gift us a card. Thanks, bro. I didn't know you cared. Just for you, we'll reduce prices at the factory even more. They play out a case to gain some life for every little guy they can squeeze out. They follow up with a doll. It's creepy and smells funny. Should have left that at the thrift store. They miss out on sending the bat. Oopsie poopsie, bro. Let's get our 7th mana before we drop in a siege. Then we'll follow up with the battlefront. That looks like double snare. We can cage the elephant. No, wait, the creepy doll, and we'll take shears to the sheep. It's time to trim the squad, actually. Facing down 36 trample damages, they poop it and scoop it. Smell you later, bro. This is Pikachu. I bet you didn't know his pants would be here on the big show. Why does he stink like a hippo? We get a 4-lander with double factory. This is the easiest keep of all time. Bro is counting his logs. Let's give him a moment. They play out a cutter. It's everyone's favorite of the month. But in Boras? Should be Growl Bro. Let's fire up the first factory. We've got Robot Overlords to make. All hail our AI masters. On top we have a banner and a siege. We like them both. Let's keep them and in that order. They go for a forge, but that's not a double spell and it's only 1 damage this turn. I am not impressed. This is another synthesizer turn. We'll have a double factory board and prices that will blow minds. Hold on to your cranial. On top we have double siege. We can use both. Get one for trample and haste, and the other for card draw. Bro fires off a battlefront. That's also not double spelling. That cutter is feeling out of place right about now. They pull out a snare and a wind crag siege from their overly large hippo rear end. What else you got tucked away in there, bro? They snag one of our factories. They only wish it was theirs. It's time to drop in some pain. We'll play out the banner, then go with the helm. We'll get a pair of Robot Overlords hungry for opponent flesh. They'll need a sweeper or some blockers, but we have Siege to help us cut a path through whatever they get down. A 1/1 wearing a lifelink shirt? That's kind of embarrassing. You got anything else, bro? They tapped their blocker. A board wipe, then? No, it's only a lockdown. That cutter was only ever going to be a nice-looking ornament. Sure, our men are gone, but we've got ways to make more. Robot Overlord coming in hot and hungry. What have you got to eat, bro? They go for a snare, but what are they taking? An active Helm is still capable of making more Robot Overlords. And they've spent most of their mana on this removal. They snag our last factory, but we've still got a lethal AI on board. Gaining 3 life is not going to get the job done. Let's just see what we got on top. We didn't have to play out the rediscover. We'll copy up and send it. That's 19 trample coming in, and they are only able to block 2. GG's extra cheese. This is Boy Sal Lover. You know, some secrets you should keep to yourself, bro. We get a shuffler special, we've got a factory and some draw, but this feels bad. Mull. Then we get a 4-lander with a snare, rediscover, and a banner. This should be fine, we can ship a land on down. Keep. The raceway is the most expendable. They land a screaming chicken, gotta love that sound. They come screaming in for that 1-point hit. Some get the poop, and some get the beak. We get the beak. They follow up by charting a course. Chart away, bro. We've got all our colors, so no need to get the passage down. We'll save it for later. They use the map token on their screaming chicken. That's doubled the damage it dishes out. Now things are getting scary. Let's cage it. They've got no other men, and we can buy us some time if they don't have anything else. They chart another course. The first one wasn't any good, I guess. Let's land our rediscover. We bought ourselves some time to find a factory or some other ammo. They hit our snare with an abrade. They really need their chicken that bad? Their win con is a chicken. On top we've got a pair of lands and a siege. Not really what we were looking for, but the siege here wouldn't be too bad, I suppose. It's kind of hard to be excited about haste and trample when we don't have a way to make men. They land a bonehead. We'll definitely need some good draws and better selection from our rediscover. We draw a land, and now it's up to the rediscover. That's a battlefront and a snare. Any one of those would be fine, but let's take the battlefront. And that's a big hit. Double synthesizer means double the factories to crank out our robot overlords at reduced prices. On top we have the other 2 synthesizers. That's never happened before. We'll keep everything as is. The opponent goes copy, and now they have a triple bonehead board. That's almost as good as our double factory outlets. We'll send you some robot overlords, bro, free of charge. Doesn't get cheaper than that. They keep everyone back. Bro thinks he is prepared for the smash hits that are coming. We have to go with the Helm here. It'll generate a pair of Robot Overlords, as well as a set of map tokens to boost our AI men. Then we can follow up with the Siege. Haste and Trample, as well as another dose of Double Strike should be game. I mean, that's only 60 trample damage going in. Prepare your shorts for a staining. They survived the first strike damage, but we get to hit them one last time. This time, all our Robot Overlords take a shot. Damages, bro, damages. GG's, extra cheese. And that, my friends, is another satisfied customer.